Welcome back to another episode of me expanding on Dreamland. So I want to put in some skylights here so the dupes that are climbing have the ability to see. I don't have glass tiles for that. Certainly don't want to open it up to space and let my oxygen flow out. So let's have a look at that. Plastic tile, window tile. Actually, I'll need some advanced research for that. So start on it now. While that's going on, I have prepared some steel to be dropped off in the other world because the dupe that is there is looking for things to do. They're going to start on a cooling system. This is my pipe for oil. Don't want to interfere with that. And these two pipes are going to be the cooling. So I'll put in a liquid reservoir right here. Out of that, I'm going to be taking the temperature of it. See, I can see I have enough material now to make aquatuner out of steel. Liquid shut off. And that's going to be guided by the temperature. So water is going to be going in, or whatever the coolant is going to be. Whoops. Is going to be going in here. It'll go through this system if it doesn't need cooling, in this way if it does. And it'll go out of the system over here. I'll probably build those pipes exactly where I wanted them. I'll make sure we have power to this thing here. Alright, so that'll keep this dupe busy. And in this world, I need to find out what my next task is. And I think that's going to be farming. I want to upgrade the food. I need to choose a place to grow all this food. Don't need that. Don't need this. Kind of thinking this area here. So that's going to be, I need ammo suits for that. Though I might put that in at the end. Let's just get rid of, make some room, get rid of heavy watt wire. Certainly this can go. Is there anything else? Water pipes, gas pipes. Just clear it out of all the things. This is where I used to have the coal generators. I don't need that anymore. I have steam power. So we'll get rid of that little bit of automation, but I'll wait for these dupes to do that. So I'm having a dip down station be built here, making it out of gold, just to be fancy. It's going to be difficult to replace this with the metal later on. That's why I'm doing this little section now, but I'm not going to make the whole thing out of gold, at least at the moment. Saving a room here for a fire pole. And I don't know if I have enough gold to do this now. Let's see if we can just get a few more pieces created. So I'll have two down stations over here for what I'm going to grow. I'm going to have a hot area and a warm area, or in a cold area. So two farms with two separate temperatures. And I'll have this, the reason for the dip down area is to have a vacuum to be able to separate it all. Oh, I'm just making stuff out of lead. Alright, just wait for gold to be created. So now I have two of these dip down stations, which I need to fill with liquid. This is going to be sleet wheat. It's going to be a very cold spot, so probably water would be a bad choice. Polluted water would also be a bad choice, leaking in as polluted oxygen. So I've got brine in the world, so I'll figure a way to get that in there. Let's see, I believe this is my brine line here. Making our way down. Repurposing pipes. So this goes down here. This is where. So it's my polluted water line. I want to keep that intact. Okay, instead of going in that direction. I'll go over here. And that's going to create a vacuum protection between the main of the base, the vacuum area, and the cold area. And I'll have a warm area underneath for the peppers. Alright, so while the dupes are working on that, and that the water, or salt water, or brine rather, is being filled up, let's have a look at this dupe. They're just putting the final touches on this system. Extra piece of that is needed. So I'm bringing in polluted water that's being stored here, and this is what's going to primarily going to be cooling this system. So I had to destroy that. Why not put that back? Oh yeah, I wanted to make that out of different material. That's why. Copper plus 50. Let's bring a little bit of steel in for that. I'm out of steel, but I can get some more. 2,000. Let's only need 200. Manufacture material, steel. We'll dump that on the floor, and the dupes will bring it over, or the machine will bring it over. So I've got this area for slate wheat. I'm going to have some water down here, or actually brine. Over here, actually I've got this wrong. This is going to be for the peppers. The worker over here, miner, is got nothing to do. I'm sure I can find some stuff, including the cooling off of the oil well. And this is being loaded with water. That's good. I think we need more lead sent back to that world. I now have a working cooling system that is doing the cooling, so polluted water is going through, maintaining that temperature to be 20 degrees. It's just turned on, so it hasn't had a major effect right now, but essentially that is keeping the oil well cooled. The oil well also has a temperature safety set that it only operates under 70 degrees. As well, of course, I need to maintain the temperature of the top of the steam turbines. So with that, the dupe that is here can go back, miner, and help out with the farming in the other asteroid. This miner has arrived. What's it looks like here? I have a decent amount of brine. I'm gonna add a little bit more. I've got two cooling systems down here. One is gonna be for the sleet wheat. One is just general base cooling. And I'll have to have a heater up here. Maybe I'll add more brine at this location. Lots of brine everywhere. It's saving the this from being a knock. Excuse me, this. If I can talk, this is now a vacuum area and being maintained as such because the two different dip down brine areas also have this two areas here. This is going to be an exchanging cold to keep sleet wheat that's going to grow here in the future, and this is going to do the reverse. It's going to keep these plants warm. Other than that, I have some, what is this, ethanol that is going to do the actual cooling. I've got this set to be minus 33. That's going to go into this area only when it's needed. So I'll actually need a thermal sensor to go in there and indicate to that when to go on or in and out of that. And a regular cooling system that hasn't been loaded yet. Also need to put some water inside here, otherwise this is going to have huge amounts of problem. So here it is. I'll work on the last little touches of all of this, put in some automation to get the plants in and out, and obviously plant the plants so we can actually grow some new stuff, have higher quality food. So I'm adding the inputs, water and polluted water. Also have logic on each of these liquid reservoirs for 50-50. So we'll only let water or polluted water in if it is 50% full. Otherwise, water is going to cycle through this system here and around in a loop. And I have ethanol going in there only when it's needed, which is above 3 degrees. Might even make that 2. Oh, I said 2, not 1. There's 2 degrees. So yeah, over on this side, I have a temperature thing that controls whether the heating is needed, and it goes for about 40 degrees. So that made it 44 degrees. I'm going to grow some peppers there. Of course, they're not going to actually grow until my input of the two liquids arrive, but that's all right. And here we are now cooling ethanol. I brought in brine. I haven't put on that, but I'll get that in there. I'll definitely want to hit or provide some liquid up here before this gets so hot. What's the temperature of that? 48. Got a little bit of time. So when you run an oil well, you don't just get oil, you also get natural gas. So I had to build a pump in here to make sure this doesn't become overpressured over time. And the advantage with that is I actually get a generator, so I can produce some power. So I can run things, especially like the cooling, or for a little bit anyways, over the night when there's no solar. Okay. Well, I was going to put heavy watt wire in there, and I realized I don't want to do that. I'll just have conductive. Connect it with that line. The other thing is I'm now ready to specify or get the ingredients collected from these rooms, so from the farms. Let's see, I'm going to put auto sweeper here. Now this one will need 2 of them. Let's make sure I've got that right. That looks good. So this is going to have 2 collectors. And I actually won't have the input for that one, but I need to research that, I believe. Yeah, conveyor receptacle. This is going to have phosphorite. So the input will just be that for this, but because this one needs to be divided by 2, I'll want more than 1. And that's going to go to the food storage system over here. Minus 35 in that block. No problem growing the pincha plants. It's going to take a little bit more to cool the sleet wheat. Maybe I'll change this number to, well, it's already, I think that minus 25 for the ethanol. So just waiting for this thing to go down. This needs power too. That's right. Conductive. So I'm making this out of the oh, careful there. If I go through Bissolite, that's going to break my vacuum. That would be annoying. More for future proofing, but I'm not avoiding heavy wire there. So it's not as ugly because the farmer's going to be in there working for a bit. Speaking of which, this is going to be a heavy walking path for them to go up and down. Get rid of the heavy watts there. This is probably one of the nicest looking rooms from their perspective, just because I made these tiles out of gold, but anyway. So these are effectively dirt loaders, putting dirt into the sleet wheat. That's going to be provided from here. And dups will put cultivative soil dirt in there. You can see this machine needs to be powered on. Again, this needs to be told, cultivative soil, dirt, up the priority. Let's do cooking ingredients. This is going to be the one for slate wheat, but I'll put both and give them the same setting all the way through. And that's it. All we're really... Oh, the other bit I've added, this is cooling system. That's keeping the top of the steam turbine cool. But it also is a little bit of cooling in the base, immediately having effect over here. So overall base is decent temperature. But I will bring some pipes in to maintain its temperature over time. Well, this is it. My farm. I'm producing pincha pepper plant and sleet wheat. They're both happy at the moment. I just had this set to 0. Let me bring it back up to 2. Temperature is going to be maintained. Dirt is input. Phosphorite is input. So I'm not producing any of those. There's lots of it in the world at the moment, but long term I may need to produce those things. But, well, actually far more pressing is the fact that I'm not actually taking advantage of these inputs. They're going to be stored here, ultimately, or up here rather. Whoops, wait a minute. Yeah, this is backwards. Not right, not good. Yeah, okay, so this is wrong. I can fix this though, but essentially I want to take food that is cooked, store it down here. And the ingredients, well, that gets stored up. Nope. I could store it, well, I may as well, I suppose, do this. Alright, I think this is going to be a future episode when I put together the kitchen, cooking area, and get the natural gas for that. But the most difficult bit of this is producing the inputs, the ingredients. So there it is. And I'll see you in another episode. Till then.